Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into a seriously fascinating topic. We're breaking down the hidden layers of manipulation, and, more importantly, we're looking at exactly how you can reclaim your own cognitive space. Let's get right into it.
Okay, you know that feeling, right? You're standing in the shower at like 2 a.m. or maybe you're driving home from a long meeting, and suddenly this universal question just pops into your head. Why did I actually say yes to that? During the conversation, you probably didn't feel any resistance at all, but a few hours later, something is just gnawing at you. You agreed to something you absolutely did not want to do. Well, that incredibly relatable moment is exactly where we're starting our explainer today.
That scenario brilliantly illustrates the core of our source material today, Nick van den IJssel's book, Doorzien, which is all about seeing through these tactics. This guide systematically redefines how we protect our boundaries when we're put under pressure. And look, it's absolutely not about becoming paranoid or building up this giant emotional armor. It's really all about perception, just recognizing what's happening in the moment and knowing exactly how to react.
So let's start with the absolute basics, because we kind of need to adjust how we view this whole concept. Getting the real definition is crucial here. When you hear the word manipulation, you probably think of, outright lying or someone openly intimidating you. But the definition we're using is way sharper. Influence that hides its own workings. The concealment itself is the ultimate red flag. Think about it. If a salesperson straight up tells you, hey, I want to sell you this because I get a huge commission, they're pushing hard, sure, but they aren't manipulating you. Manipulation only works because its intent and how it operates stays completely invisible to you.
And here's a massive paradigm shift for you. You are not manipulated because you're foolish or naive. Not at all. You're manipulated because your working memory is overloaded in that specific moment. Your cognitive space is literally compromised. It is a capacity problem, not an intelligence problem. Thinking critically and fact-checking takes a ton of mental energy, right? And manipulation is specifically designed to hijack exactly that processing space.
So, to keep our own cognitive load nice and low today, we're going to follow this straightforward roadmap. First, we'll cover what manipulation actually is. Then, we'll hit the 3 layers. Layer 1 is open pressure, Layer 2 is hidden language, and Layer 3 is the structure. After that, we'll walk through the ultimate defense procedure, and finally, we'll wrap up with knowing your risk factors.
All right, part 1, what manipulation really is, the diagnostic matrix.
What I find personally fascinating about this concept is the biological fact that our bodies actually classify manipulation way before our rational brains do. The source material splits manipulation into 3 very distinct layers. Each layer uses a different tactic, feels totally different in your body, and because of that, requires a completely different countermove. It's basically like having an X-ray for your conversations.
It's incredibly interesting to see the connection between what you literally feel and what's actually happening. Let's walk through this matrix. Do you feel immediate resistance right now, and does it take courage to speak up? Then you're in Layer 1, open pressure. But what if you feel a vague sense of anxiety, like hours later? That was Layer 2, a hidden language pattern that got quietly planted in your head. And what if you just feel exhausted without being specifically suspicious of anyone? Then you're dealing with Layer 3, structural manipulation. So as you can see, your physical reaction is absolutely your compass here.
Moving on to part 2. Layer 1, open pressure, artificial deadlines, and borrowed authority. This is the layer that is immediately visible and palpable. Here, the influence doesn't hide the fact that there is pressure. Instead, it hides the fact that the pressure is completely artificial and fabricated. There's a really clear contrast between an honest boundary and a fake deadline. Saying something like, if this continues, I'm quitting, is open and direct. But a classic Layer 1 manipulation tactic is, say, getting an email at 4:40 p.m. on a Friday demanding you agree to something by 9 a.m. Monday. That deadline, it's completely made up. It's deliberately sent right before the weekend when HR, your colleagues, or your union are totally unreachable. It isolates you. The mechanism works because saying no in that acute moment feels way more socially costly than just folding and saying yes. The best countermove? Just calmly name the pressure and set your own realistic timeline.
Part 3. Layer 2, hidden language, shifting your frame invisibly.
Now we're going to slow things down significantly here, because this is the invisible, insidious layer that totally avoids aggression and slips right past your critical thinking by exploiting how language itself is designed. Out of the 12 patterns listed in our source, we're highlighting these 4 extremely toxic traps. Number 1, the assumption. This smuggles an unproven fact right into a sentence. Number 2, mind reading. This is when someone claims to know your inner thoughts, forcing you to defend yourself against something you never even said. Number 3, the false dilemma. Suddenly, a super complex topic is reduced to just 2 options, and of course, one of them is completely unacceptable. And finally, number 4, everyone. You know, everyone just does this. You're the only one making a fuss. Suddenly, disagreeing isn't a valid opinion anymore. It's framed as a personal character flaw.
Let's look at exactly how this plays out in real life. Take the remark, "When are you finally going to participate seriously?" This right here is pure poison for your working memory. If your immediate reaction is to defend yourself by saying, "Hey, I am participating seriously," bam, you've fallen right into the trap. The hidden presupposition baked into that sentence structure is that you are not currently being serious. By defending your timing, you've actually, completely unconsciously, accepted their false accusation.
So how do we parry these invisible attacks? Here is your ultimate counter move. Force the concealed implication out into the broad daylight. The fastest test is to repeat the sentence out loud, literally, in explicit language. You just answer something like, "Okay, before I answer that, your question assumes that I'm not currently participating seriously. Is that what you're saying?" By stripping away the concealment, the manipulative power of the statement literally evaporates on the spot.
Part 4. Layer 3. The structure. Manipulation without a manipulator.
Now let's zoom way out to a type of manipulation where there isn't even a manipulator in the room with you. We're talking about carefully designed systems that just prey on our attention and structural defaults. These are the modern digital traps that chronically drain our working memory. Look at subscriptions. It takes 2 easy clicks to get in, but canceling, that requires logging in, navigating hidden screens, and making a phone call. Or algorithms. They aren't optimized for truth or what's actually good for you. They are optimized purely for retention, which usually means fueling outrage. And here's a super interesting new one. AI models that are tuned to be too nice. They constantly agree with you, acting like a cozy echo chamber while masquerading as a critical thinking tool. You don't beat this kind of structural manipulation with raw willpower. You need a counterstructure. Change your default settings or simply set up hard calendar alerts to break the loop.
Part 5. The 4V procedure. The ultimate defense mechanism.
Okay, we have arrived at the operational climax of this explainer. When everything else fails and the pressure is skyrocketing, you need a method. This is a robust, aviation-style checklist for defensive communication. Seriously, you might want to screenshot this because this is your lifeline under pressure. Now, our source material outlines the 4V procedure, which roughly translates to slow down, translate, verify, and anchor. The chronological order here is absolutely non-negotiable. Step 1, slow down, breathe. Buy time by saying, "I'll get back to you on this." Step 2, translate. Repeat the message back literally to unmask any of those hidden language patterns we just talked about. Step 3, verify. Ask for the essential missing details. Who exactly is saying this? And step 4, anchor. Formulate your position in one clear sentence and just keep repeating it. Why is this specific order sacred? Well, if you jump straight to step 3 and start asking sharp questions without slowing down first, you're doing it with an overloaded working memory. And honestly, you're still going to lose.
Part 6. When you are vulnerable. Knowing your risk factors.
We do have to be realistic here, though. Even the most brilliant procedure fails if you don't realize your cognitive shields are currently down. There are 6 specific states of vulnerability where manipulation is most likely to succeed. Are you totally exhausted after a long workday? Is there intense time pressure? Are you carrying a heavy emotional load? Are you isolated from your usual sounding board? Is there a big status difference, like say with your boss? Or are the stakes just incredibly high, involving your health or your money? On paper, you might recognize all the tricks, but in these 6 situations, your working memory shrinks. That is exactly when you need to stop relying on your sharpness and blindly grab that 4-step checklist instead. Which brings us to the end of our journey today with a really important thought to leave you with. You now know that manipulation is an attack on your capacity and your working memory, whether it comes from open pressure, hidden language, or systemic structures. So now that you know this framework, who or what is silently taking up your cognitive space today, it is time to reclaim it. Apply these procedures, recognize the mechanisms, and protect your space. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.